to the other. And those are pretty negative words, but it will turn out positive, of course, when we do it. You know that. But we got to know, we got to understand the factors behind why people not become successful, even if it looks like it. I've been, in my 30 years, I've seen so many people, and some of them you go like, wow, that, he's going to be really successful. And turn out, no, he does the total opposite. Destroy for himself, sabotage his business, sabotage his career, and you see so many of those people coming by, playing for a while, and then disappear. And then you wonder, and I did so too many years ago. Actually, I had a lunch with my son today, and I tried to talk like I do to you guys, not all the time, but especially when I was sitting down, a quiet time and lunch with my son, and we were talking, and I told him that I was surprised many years ago how people actually throw their lives away, even though they get the right information. And it has to do with a lot of things, of course, but the things we talk about here. You need to be disciplined. You need to have goals. And you need to have someone that mentoring you, because you can't see yourself. It's impossible. You can't be your own coach, because then you're going to coach your way to hell. You got to have someone that can see you and tell you those things you need to hear, not the things you want to hear. Everyone wants to hear, oh, it's going to be easy. You're going to get everything for free. You don't have to do nothing, and that's not the case. Life is full of stuff. And people, think that problems is something negative when it's totally the opposite. It depends on how you think about the problem, of course. Do you react or do you respond when a problem appears? Anyway, those are the things, and there's today's theme will be connected to that, because it is a mystery why people throw their lives away. And even though they're in a beautiful business and they make money, and they think that money is the success, which is the downfall for many, because money is just a byproduct of following laws. But money in itself has nothing to do with success. You can be a miserable piece of beep with a lot of money. So money usually just bring out what that person has inside of himself. So if you're a nice, emphatic person, caring about others, and you have money, that brings out those qualities. But if you're evil, mean, and egotistic, that will bring out those characteristics. Money usually tend to bring out what that person is, since in his deep inside of that person. But listen, guys, we start off with some positive here, and that is that we are designed for success. There's no doubt about it. We're here to make an impact. And I think everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be part of something. Everyone to be, succeed. And success is predictable. 100%. I can take a look at anyone and see, so let me see your action plan. Let me see your goals. Let me see, and I watch that person. I can predict if that person is going to be successful or no. Because also failure is predictable. Because everything in life is working by laws. You may like it, you may not like it, you may hate it. It doesn't matter. It still is. Everything in life is functioned by laws. And I will talk today a little bit, because subject was conformity, or submission. And I think the Maslow, it explains it so well, because here are the people. Here is everyone on planet Earth. They are either in the lower bottom or working their way up to self-actualization, to be free. Because when you're up there in the orange, you're free. You're making your own choices, and you're not doormat, or you're not codependent, or you're not over protective, or you're not over control. You're free, because you're a free person. But that takes time, maybe a whole lifetime, maybe, I don't know. But the principle behind it is that you need to work on it. You need to do something. You need to take action. And usually there's money involved in this climbing. So when you climb, you actually get more freedom, financially freedom, which is not everything, because if you're not free mentally and you know the rules, and you build your character, never ever mix up charisma with character. There are charismatic people, but if they don't have a character, if they don't build their character, it doesn't matter. And don't follow people like that. So anyway, Maslow did it. So if you've never seen this before, just a quick one. This is actually Maslow's meaning of life. What's the purpose? Why am I here? Well, when I climb these steps in the self-actualization pyramid, I actually grow, and I can't do it. I can't take shortcuts. I can't do it by doing nothing. I can't inherit, because I have to do it myself. And that's also a thing that you can Google it, or whatever. You can look it up. That I think they say if you inherit some money, in 2 generations it's all gone. If you don't learn the same principles that was behind the person who first made those money, because those are laws. So you can throw it all away if you inherit. That's what people who gamble. I mean, I know there's a product, there's a great product, but I'm not against gambling. I'm just saying that people who win big lottery, if they don't have the knowledge how to acquire the money, they will lose it. So that's why it's good for you guys, because you have the knowledge. So when you win Epic Lotto, you will keep the money. Yeah. So that's why we're here, guys. We're in it together. I want to help you to keep your money. So Maslow did this, the pyramid of success, or the pyramid meaning of life, because in this process of climbing the different steps here, you got to go through problems. You got to become a leader. You got to work, hard. You got to use the bylaws, the principles. You got to have a plan. You got to write stuff down. You got to attend seminars. You got to grow. You got to change the way you think. All those things. But what happens? Most of the people stay in the lower levels, and they stay there until they get buried 6 feet under. So I did the statements that we're born to succeed. So why is it that people don't succeed? Why do they fail? Conformity. They conform. So listen, this is an extract. This is a sentence taken out of the good book. And do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Wow. Is that what we're doing here every Sunday? Yes, it is. So do not be conformed of the world. What is the world trying to do with people? Well, a lot of fear, try to scare people. Oh, don't do that. Whoa, you gotta be careful. And now it's this, and the mainstream media just a propaganda channel for fear, fear porn. It's ridiculous how they just scare people to death about everything. If you take the headlines of 1 year's newspapers and you take a look at them and you go like, what? Is this for real? But you don't really notice, because when you're in life, you're walking around, and people who doesn't have that knowledge, they buy it. And since there's so much information coming out right now in the world, we're just bombarded with information. Social media, mainstream media, television, people everywhere. There's like information. So you got to be careful, because you will pick up. If you repeat a message, even if it's bad or good, your subconscious won't understand if it's bad or good. It will just pick it up. So that's why we're here on Sundays. We don't want to be conformed of the world, because we want to be transformed by the renewal of our mind, so we can become successful, joyous, happy, and free. Are you with me? Okay, good. So if you don't want to stay in the lower levels, why do people stay in the lower levels and never move on? They don't have a desire to change. Or, and I'm talking a burning desire. They have wishful thinking. It's not the same thing as desire. A desire, burning desire. That's what moves people. And people get complicit. People get used to pain. Even though they have a miserable life, they get used to it, because they don't think there's a way out. And then you appear and you say, hey, I have a way out for you. But some people will say no to that. Even though they have a miserable life, they will say no to you and to your knowledge. Because some people suffer from possibility blindness. They can't. Some people have to be shaken up real bad. A crisis happens, and then they will change. Most people won't change when everything is great. Most people won't change, I'm telling you. But this is, your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same. And what does that mean? It means that you have to have goals. So you take all your dreams and you teach people to take their dreams, to write them down, to have a deadline. A dream's written down with a deadline turn into a goal. As soon as you write it down, it turns into a goal. That doesn't mean it will happen if you don't work for it, but at least you have written it down, and at least it turned from a dream to a goal. That is change. That's the mini first step. For success. So we have a system. Why do I keep talking about this? Well, people don't get it. People think that they throw people into a webinar and that's it, and some people start working and they work for themselves, of course, because they work for their dreams, and then the people who sign them up stop working because they think they're home free. They've done it. They're already there. And I can tell you that's cheating. That won't work. The universe, the laws that the creator created will not accept cheaters, because the boomerang will always come back. And this is a lesson that we learn through this system. Because when you're in the system and you constantly work in the system, if you constantly hear on the Sunday school seminars, you will learn stuff. If you have a pen and paper, I hope you have pen and paper so you can take notes, and then you can go back and listen again and again and again if you want to. But listen, the people who have a desire bigger than staying the same. That's why education is number one for me in the system, because that's what turns everything 360, you know, and it will help people take action. I know we spend 80% of our time in the two first blocks, but that's where we do the action, which actually train us to become better. You know, the first look, we invite people, we present the business, we talk about stuff, and then we bring them to a webinar. We learn stuff when we hear other people. You know, that's part of the system. That's part of a team. You learn by listening to others. And some people think they know it all. So, I don't have to listen to anybody. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I do everything myself. Wrong. You got to be humble. That's a law. You know, stay humble. You can be great, but you can be humble still. And then we have the event. So you took part of a great event and you learned a lot, you got information, and you got inspired. And the system is here to actually bring that fire into you so you start moving in the right direction. The system is here for you to help you fulfill those goals, those dreams that you wrote down with the deadline. So the purpose of the system is to help people leave the lower levels of Maslow's pyramid and start working, start climbing, you know, and you who are here on the webinar, you know what I'm talking about because you've done it. So you can say, yes, I know what it's talking about because I've done it. I can feel it. So the purpose of the system is to have stability and comfort for the new people. The system is for the new people. It's also for the old people, for you that have been around for a while, because you're always in the system working. But it's mostly for the new people. So the new people can easily plug in and say, wow, I can do that step by step. And the system will work for you if you work the system, because we work with duplication. You know, I see so many mistakes, especially when it's online, because people think it's different. You know, they think they can cheat. You can't cheat the universe. It will come back. The boomerang will always come back when you throw it. And whatever you throw out will come back. Think about that. If you throw out good stuff will come back. You throw out bad stuff will come back. And in the end, it's about you know, your inner self, your soul. So duplication, it's duplicatable. The system is duplicatable. There's information and there's news in the system. That's where you hear the news. So you got to be on those webinars. You got to attend, and you got to do it, and you got to work it. Some people send people and they don't attend themselves. You can't do that. That won't work. I'm telling you. And the purpose of a system, it inspire people and motivate them. For new challenges. And this is an important thing I learned many years ago. You know, you can't help people who don't want to get helped, okay? But you can plant a seed. So you cannot force someone to understand a message. I can't force you. I would love to force you to be successful. You know, you come here on the Sunday school and I force you to become successful. I would love that. So you can, but that's not how it works. And that's beauty in that, because if you don't do it by your own will, what's the purpose? Anything got to come from you. You are the creator. But you will not, and you shall not, underestimate the power of planting a seed. So the system is about planting seeds. As many seeds you plant, as bigger business you will have. But listen, even though That's the beauty with this business. Even though you bring people on board, they sign up and they start working and then they quit. You know what? If they attend one Sunday school, they had more out of this business than most business. And they will remember. You know what? You know why? Because when you talk into some people's soul, when there's principles, not just made up baloney, and there's no baloney here, it's just principles, people will remember it. They will go like, wow, you know, that guy who was talking there on that webinar, that sounded really good. That was, you know, and they will remember it. Maybe they use it somewhere else, somewhere in life. So when you stay to the truth, when you stay true to the truth, and you work your character and you become someone, that's when you're helping people. And I think that's the purpose of being here. You know, the purpose of being here is for you to develop yourself. Personal development it's you, the person, you, personal development. It's not other people's development. It is, but that's the second step. First, you develop yourself, and when you have something to give, you can give it away. And listen, you can't keep what you don't give away. So if you want to be really great at, you know, if you want to build your character, start giving the principles away. Learn them, do them, give them away. Because the purpose is to have a culture of leaders who understand and follow the principles. And I know many are called, few are chosen. That's just the way it is. In the early beginning, I was discouraged because I thought that everyone should get it, but then I understood, you know, not everyone will get it, and that's the name of the game. You know, it's a choice, free will. Isn't that beautiful? If everyone was forced to get it, it wouldn't be fun because it's not free will. When we choose to do it by our free will, you see, we get rid of the bad apples and only the good apples stay. So again, Maslow had phenomenal philosophy behind this. So back to this. When you look at the lower levels, people who stay, some people stay in the first step, you know, they just, you know, reproduct, you know, they sleep a little bit, they have a little bit shelter, they eat somewhat, you know, that's all they do. And they had so much inside of them that never came out because they conformed. Conformity. They conformed. They became like everyone else. This is how it works. You know, when we're little, people are taking care of us because that's the way it is. You know, our parents or whoever took care of us. You know, when we're little, we can't take care of ourselves, but we also adopt. We also adopt what people around us are doing. But this is another principle. This is a principle of conformity. So they take care of us. We come to school and someone tells us what to do. Read this, do this, write this. We conform, and then we come to the first job, and someone tells us, stay over there and take whatever, do that, or brush in the corner, or pull that handle over there. And, you know, they tell us what to do. They tell us when to show up, and they tell us when to go home. And then all of a sudden, we come across a business idea. And all of a sudden, we now, for half or a quarter of a life, we learn to conform. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be entrepreneurs and think for ourselves and start taking action and make an action plan and dreams and put down goals. And can you see that it's hard? Because people conform to the world. when you're supposed to be an impactor. You're supposed to impact the world with good stuff. And you go to a job that's meaningless to you. Most of the people hate their jobs. That's why it's a job. And that's why I see that this lockdown is destroying small businesses, and it makes people more dependent. So it's wrong. Someone's pulling the strings. I don't care what you think, but that's what I think. Because there's no freedom. Anyway, so we got to start. We got to start the journey to understand the principles behind this. We got to transform by renewing of our mind. So new thoughts, new thinking. You know, some people, for me for instance, when I first came across goal setting, I never set goals in my whole life. I didn't know what it was all about. I didn't know you could do it. And my first mentor, he told me, Peter, you can be anything you want to be. You can have anything you want to have if you just change the way you think. And I was going like, no, come on. But he said, yes. And I believed him because I could see that he was successful in the way he was conducting stuff. So you need a mentor. You need someone that can help you be transformed. And you need the right information, because some people, you know, I start the webinars with the picture. Don't take instructions from people who can't take you to the next level. What does that mean? Don't take instruction from charismatic people. You got to take instruction from people with character. People who are truthful. People who walk the walk and talk the talk. And you go like, yeah, that's not many of those. I know. I know. But there are a lot of those people. Still most of the other people, but still. So connect these two things. Do not be conformed to this world, because you will stay in the lower levels. That's what it says. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind and move up in the ladder. Wow. What a beauty. I love it when it's so simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. I didn't say it was easy. Did I? No? So if people continue to do the same things as they did before, they will get the same results. That's why the biggest word is change. You got to change the way you do stuff. You got to have courage to step out of your comfort zone. Don't do the things that make you comfortable. Do the things that make you scared. Because outside the comfort zone, you got to be scared of doing some stuff, because that's when you grow. And then you will come across problems. And you got to understand the problem is part of the equation. That's when you grow. You grow through problems. So you see this slide here. Everyone makes their own choices. Everyone makes their own choices. We had a whole Sunday school webinar about making a choice, remember? Go back, listen to it. You see, I'm talking principles here. I'm not talking facts, because facts change. Principles never change. And everyone becomes what they decide to be. It's a decision. You make the choices. You want to be in fear, or you want to be in progressive success fight. Listen, very simple. To attend this Sunday school webinar is a fight. It's been on the right side. To not log in and have excuses is fear. People who have a lot of excuses are very fearful people. They're probably fear, for a lot of things, but mostly of their own inner self that they neglect to improve. But that's why it's so simple, not easy, but laws make life predictable. And success is a byproduct. It's a result of the obedience to those laws that we keep talking about. So what am I talking about? Well, I made several statements this webinar already about principles and laws. The law of giving, the law of being humble, the law of putting out, you will get back what you put out, and the law of conformity, there's so many laws. And you got to get those down. You got to keep it simple, stupid. That's why we have this system. So you go through the system and you learn stuff. So I know this is pretty obvious, but you need to start and think. You need to start to think and act like a winner. So how do winners think and act? But first of all, they don't make fearful thinking. They don't have fears. They avoid fear. That it's not absence of fear, they come across, but they choose to fight. Did you hear what I said? They choose to fight. It's a decision. We all come across problems. Then we make a choice. We make excuses or we fight. We make a decision to fight. So after an event like this, some people, they go the easy way. They don't listen to what I say or someone else say. So they do it their own way. But I'm telling you, now is the time to set those goals for 2021, but also for the last couple of days in this 2020. So you got to know exactly what's going on in your organization today, tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month. So you do your goal setting, and when you have your personal goals down, you do your planning for the group, for your team. You set down, your expectations, what you expect from your organization. What do you do when you expect something? When you have high expectations of people and you really make them feel that you expect something from them, they will be better. They will produce. So that's the leadership thing, to expect stuff. People go like, oh, I don't know if I can. Yes, you can. You're awesome. You're brilliant. You're a winner. Listen, come on. You got to be the inspiration for those guys. Because those goals that you set for yourself and for your team, especially the team goals, you work with your key people, will produce all this volume, new prospects, key people, attending webinar, attending education, next event. Those are the things you got to put down on the timeline. Those are things you put down on the timeline. Because again, the system. This is where we work. First look, business presentation, education, and event. Go back, bring some new people in. First look, business presentation, education, event. Go back, bring some new people in. First look, business presentation, education, event. Go back, wow. And when you understand that you work the system and the system will work for you. So people think, they have lies programmed in their subconscious mind, that they think that successful people have more time than themselves. Everyone has the same amount of time. You don't get time, you take time. You don't get time. People say, "Oh, I didn't have enough time." What do you mean? You had all the time in the world. You had all the time in the world. Listen, a person that works 40 hours a week has 72 free hours where he don't sleep or work or do something else a week. 72 hours a week free time. So don't give me that oh, I didn't have the time. You didn't take the time, you mean? You didn't plan. You didn't have goals big enough to move you forward. You didn't have the inspiration because you didn't attend webinars that made you motivated, and so on. Everyone has the same amount of time. And you need to be, that's why I talk about discipline, because now when you have all the what to do's, you got to do it. And some people, it's easy not to. It's as easy to not to do it. That's why discipline is so important. Discipline is, you don't feel like it, you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway, because for its higher aim. You have that driving force behind you, so you know why you're doing this. You got to have those things down. And the only way to change is discipline. There's no other way. When you build your character, you do it by discipline. No discipline, no character. And then when you put the goals down after an event like this, you want to help the people not be conformed to this world, but renew their mind. Then you got to inspect that. You got to check up on them. You got to hold them accountable. You think that is cruel? I don't think so. I think it's love. I think it's caring. When you actually hold someone accountable, that's pure love in its essence, because you're helping them. And sometimes tough love is the best love. So you inspect what you expect. You follow up on their goals. And probably you have someone that's following up on you. Hopefully. And if you do that, if you're going the extra mile, you will become successful. If you're following these principles that we talk about here on Sunday School, you will become successful. It's 100% predictable. But if you make excuses, and if you have fear thinking, and if you are a crybaby, you won't. But this is not for crybabies. These are for people who love life and understand that we're here for a reason. We're here to help other people to not be conformed of this world. And if you do that, the best of your life will be the rest of your life, because you're not who you think you are. You are who you think you are. Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a wonderful holiday with your family and kids and foes and parents and grandparents, and hug them and take care of them. And don't buy in to all the fear propaganda. Be happy, joyous, prosperous, and free. And I will see you guys on the other side of next year, I mean. Okay? Have a great one. Take care of yourself. Be strong. And we will do it together.